Come on now. Let's get that. There it
is. I want you
What's our number?
to get up now.
772-49.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs.
772-49 Smith.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio, along with your host, Brian Smith, and
Carrie Smith.
Giving you all the late-breaking news of last week, wrapping it all up, making sense of it all. We're also going to give you all the details and of all the relevant news that the media loves to hide on the weekend so that you don't see it. They're in cahoots with the government, with the establishment.
It's a government conspiracy.
It's a government conspiracy. We got tinfoil hats on. Today is, and you're not seeing things or hearing things. Today is Saturday evening, May. We're doing last minute show prep here, folks. May 7th. And the reason why we're doing it on Saturday, we normally do it every Sunday from 5 to 8 p.m. However, this Sunday is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day.
To all the mothers out there.
Giving you a little shout out from Smith Radio. If you want to be a part of the show and you're listening to the show on Saturday night, go ahead and write this number down. Call in when you've got something relevant to say, something to add to the show.
Or irrelevant. We like to call you people out.
772-49 Smith, SMYTH. If you are a Never Trump supporter, please call in. Love to hear from you. If you are a Cruz former, or even, there's still people supporting Cruz. But he's not in the game anymore. But
right, we'll talk about that.
You can give us a call in, and by all means, I will give you a moment to espouse why, or to try and persuade anybody why they should still be a Cruz supporter. Follow us on Facebook.com/Smith Radio. You will get all the breaking news of the week as it happens on our Facebook page. You'll also get all kinds of insights and details on Twitter. Follow us at Smith Radio, on Twitter. Our YouTube channel seems to be blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
Without assistance to us. Because we are on triple secret.
No. We have been fully 100% banned from YouTube. But that does not mean that you can't continue to support us there.
Enjoy the show.
Absolutely. It's nice and chopped up for you so you can enjoy it in
15-minute sections.
Right.
Yeah, 15-minute segments. So we are going to attempt this show to every 15 minutes on the 15 to announce SmithRadio.com. You're listening to SmithRadio.com with Carrie and Brian Smith.
Right. Well, thanks for that little bit of information for everybody that they'll love to hear. So, okay.
We're going to get into a couple different things. Obviously, we're going to get into...
So what happened this week? Anything?
A little bit. The whole Trump thing is a complete... I was taken back. We talked about this last show. Indiana was coming up on Tuesday, and somebody put a poll out there saying that Cruz was up 16.
Yeah, but that was one poll out of several.
Right, and I called it BS on that poll. And come to find out, and we did report this is breaking news, Cruz left Indiana early. He cut out.
Yeah, that was a shocker to me.
And I didn't understand why either. Trump took Indiana in a landslide, and Indiana was the cusp, the tipping point of the majority of people wanting to be on the winning team.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what do you think, Brian? Do you think that him pulling out early before the election to go to California or whatever and start campaigning there, that probably made the landslide a lot worse? Because once Indiana, or Hoosiers as they call them, hear that they've been abandoned, they're just like, well, I guess we'll go with the guy that thinks he can win.
Right. Cruz was certainly premature in pulling out.
Oh, certainly. And that's always a bad thing. Ask anybody.
Right. Well, and the thing is, too, and this is something else that I want to tip on, I want to talk about this evening. This is really critical. I want to get into the psyche of everything going on, and I want to explain and lay this out And as soon as it starts to unfold, Kerry will completely understand where I'm going with it. And if he doesn't, I'm sure he will.
But if I don't, I'm sure you guys will.
So the thing with Trump trouncing Cruz, I mean, really, folks, if you look back in the past, and hindsight's always 20/20, this was an absolute beatdown, regardless of whatever news you were listening to. Look back now and see the numbers. Look at the score. Look at the scoreboard. It is unbelievable, the landslide and the amount of votes and the people who came out for Trump. Okay. Milo on Breitbart did a little insight into the psyche of it all and kind of broke it down. And he predicted that the most mischievous pranksters on the internet would rally around Trump. And it did. And he also predicted the campaign would focus on trolling the lazy, entitled establishment elites. Okay. Ted Cruz and his campaign were completely out-trolled. We are in a day and age with the internet and the communications, the telecommunications. Everything is instant, every day, all the time. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, it's done. We subscribe to these guys. We see their videos. They pop up. We know what's going on. You know what's going on.
That's true. That's true. Like when I subscribe, I get notifications from the ones that I need to hear from or watch their videos right away. Same thing with Twitter. If you could, if you follow somebody, you're following somebody.
Right.
But if you click on that star next to their follow button,
that's huge.
That means that you're going to receive notifications every single time they tweet. And if you ever do that for Donald Trump,
is our star
be
still
prepared. On? I took it off because well, what happened was I was on a different radio station, and he said make sure your Twitter's up because when we do our automated tweets, I want you to retweet them. Okay. So I thought, well, I better turn off Trump's notifications then.
Oh,
because
that would be
right.
enormous.
So I turned his notifications on and turned Trump's off because I knew I was just going to miss it.
Right.
So
okay. So now, with that in mind, Trump is not a politician. He's just a very wealthy businessman and shrewd at that too. And shrewd not in a bad way. Shrewd in the sense that
he's got to win.
Yeah, it's cutthroat. You got to win. You win at all cost. Legally, not Hillary style winning. Legally, within your means, be creative.
Obviously, you want to stay out of jail.
Right. And you want to do it as ethically as possible. And you can be very creative with the laws. I understand that. Okay, so Trump, coming from that point of view, Trump seems to also have one hell of a personality and can be a jokester and a prankster. I mean, look back in the day on WWF.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the clothesline of McMahon? Come on.
You can't look at that and realize, you do realize that he knows how to have fun. That's what it boils down to.
Absolutely correct. Okay. Rewind to the start of the campaign and Trump literally obliterating Twitter to the point to where everybody is like, look at him, he's obliterating. Look, he's throwing up on Twitter. Like, that's all he does all night long. And tweet, and just on and on and on. But you know what? He didn't care.
Well, it turns out it was actually a good thing because even you said, Brian, that, man, I wish he would not say some of the things that he says. I wish he would act more presidential and not so immature and all this kind of stuff. And turns out he reported that his kids were telling him, Dad, you got to act more presidential. Please act more presidential. You got to rein it in a little bit. You got to wind it in. Then he hired the professional political strategist that kind of took over for Corey Lewandowski's position temporarily. And he said, all right, from now on, this is how you're going to have to act. And he started doing it a little bit. And it didn't work.
No.
His poll numbers started sliding. Everybody's like, what's wrong with Trump? It's like somebody gave him some Valium. And finally, he brought Corey back up, kind of made that professional, I can't even remember his name. We reported on what he's talking about. Put him back in the background again. And he tweeted, look, I got to be who I'm going to be. I don't care what anybody says. If it upsets people, then whatever.
Okay. Now, look at who's on the internet. Look at the comment section of anything. Look at the comment section on Twitter. People on the internet feel like nobody can see them, or they're in this shell and they're protected, and they can literally say whatever they want at all costs at any time.
And they do.
Yes!
They do. And it sometimes it's vicious.
Remind everybody about, if you can remember, the whole thing with Rush Limbaugh on Twitter. What was that story about?
Well, he's
That
actually
story.
said this several times. He calls it a cesspool, and he got attacked by a whole bunch of Twitter
Back
accounts.
in the day. This is a while
Yeah,
ago.
he was just getting obliterated, and it affected him, and he took it personal, and he decided to launch an investigation into it, and come to find out that it was a whole bunch of fake Twitter accounts all made by a bunch of Democrat either super PACs or supporters or whatever, and it was just a small, tiny handful of people who had dozens and dozens of Twitter handles. And by the way, I'm the Twitter chair of our local Trump campaign for our county, and I'm not going to that extreme, but I do have several accounts. I don't have dozens. I have three accounts. Two of them are for the Trump campaign. One's for Smith Radio, and one's for my coaching wrestling stuff. And I could switch the ability to switch accounts on Twitter is amazing. It's very fast. So imagine if I wanted to be really devious, I could make probably a couple dozen, have them all lined up, ready to go, and you could retweet and like tweets from every single one of your Twitter handles within a minute.
I know guys in Bangladesh who write script and programs to where you can have dozens and dozens and dozens of Twitter accounts, and this program that you have, this script, you can actually control how many tweets, what tweets, when tweets, and
well, it's interesting that you say that, because everything I just told you is manual. You can do this quickly, manually. Right. Imagine if you hire the guy from Bangladesh or whatever who creates a program that can do this even more efficiently. So the bottom line, getting back to Rush Limbaugh, when Rush Limbaugh found out what had happened to him, and that this big upheaval that happened was the result of just this tiny, tiny handful of people, he just swore off of Twitter totally. I don't agree with that. I think that there's obviously a really important reason to have a Twitter presence. And, I mean, you could see it. I mean, I honestly got to credit Twitter for Donald Trump's success
right.
at this point.
And definitely, and so with this whole thought, this whole idea that that Milo's trying to put out, he goes on to say that the combination of the internet age sass would prove almost impossible for feeble opponents like Jeb Bush to overcome.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Think about it. Look at Jeb. Oh my God. There is a, I think it might be a minute and a half long. It is the worst clips of Jeb.
This is like on YouTube?
Oh my God. I put it up on our Facebook, but it is the worst of Jeb. And at one point, he thought he was being cute and funny, and he put on this hoodie that was way too tight for him, and he pulled the hood down over his eyes, and he was trying to like be cool. Okay, folks, listen. Baby boomers, our parents are not cool people. You don't hang out with cool dudes like that. They're not cool.
Well, they were cool at one time.
But they're not cool now. They're grandparents.
1968?
They're grandparents. Okay, so what makes Trump different? Dude, Trump is that cool grandpa.
He gets it.
Yes, he's that grandpa that is down. He understands.
Yeah.
He's been there. He's done that. He's battle hardened. So when he goes up on Twitter, Trump is battle hardened. I mean, from all the attacks, the words, the name calling, the vicious lies. I mean, look at him. He's been doing this for his entire life.
And he's about to go up one-on-one against Hillary Clinton, who is close, roughly his age, roughly. And she is clueless. After all these years, how long have people been using email? And she is just clueless. And part of it is that she's lying about her ability to avoid break.